So today I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to successfully navigate the holiday season with your co-parent. My name is Mark Real Jr., founder and CEO of Real Father's Rights and the Father's Rights Attorney. Before I get into the tips, the first piece I want to talk about is if there is an issue, if there is something you can't agree with your co-parent on, the likelihood of us being able to file an ex parte request and get that cleared up prior to Thanksgiving or even prior to Christmas, which is still 6 weeks away, is very low. Now, the burden to get an ex parte hearing granted is there must be irreparable harm if immediate action is not taken by the courts. And unfortunately, judges don't view withholding the child or custody matters as urgent. Now, there are some judges who may grant it. There are some judges who may clarify an order. But the general rule of thumb is if you're at this point in the year and we need clarification on an order, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult for us to get that change made, to get that order clarified, and we're going to have to resort to negotiating and working through an issue with your co-parent or with opposing counsel. Now on to the list. Tip number 1, review your custody order early. As I just stated, the likelihood of us being able to get in front of a judge to clarify your order sitting here in November is extremely low and highly unlikely. So it's very, very important that you review your custody order and you review what this year and what the custody arrangement is going to be this year around the holidays early. I recommend sometime in the summer or maybe around the time school starts, reviewing that custody order so you understand when you are going to have your children during the holidays. Maybe this year is a year you don't have them for Thanksgiving, but standard is you would have them maybe for Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, while then your co-parent gets them Christmas afternoon. Or maybe the other way around, you're the parent that has Thanksgiving this year, and your co-parent's going to have Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, while you may not have them until the afternoon on Christmas Day. It's really, really important you review the order and you understand what your custodial arrangement is going to look like. Other things to look for would be, what's the breakdown of Thanksgiving break? While one parent may have Thanksgiving, does the other parent have specific time, or are you following the standard custody arrangement just with a special day? And more importantly, for Christmas, most of our kids are going to have 2 to 3 weeks off during December into early January. What is the arrangement during this time? And it's very, very important you understand that and know what to expect prior to the holiday seasons. So we're getting a little late for this. This may be something for the future, but you want to understand what the custodial arrangement's going to be, and you want to understand that very, very early. Tip number 2, plan ahead and communicate. This is oh so important. Number 1, you've reviewed your custodial arrangement. You understand the times you have your children over the Thanksgiving break and the Christmas break, and you make plans in accordance with that. If you're the parent this year that's going to have Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, well, you need to make sure that any plans you make for Christmas morning are done in time for you to get the kids to your co-parent for them to be able to have the afternoon on Christmas Day, or vice versa. Also, you need to think and you need to communicate with your co-parent around exchanges. Understand, school's not in session. We do a lot of exchanges at school. Well, you're not going to have that opportunity over Christmas break. So reach out to your co-parent, have these constructive conversations, and make sure the two of you are on the same page as early as possible. Tip number 3, be child-centered in your communication and your decision-making. The biggest mistake I see fathers make around the holidays is that they look at their custodial arrangement as black and white, and they look at it in terms of my time and her time. I want to urge you to look at it through your kids' lenses. Look at it through the eyes of your children. And if your co-parent, say, has an extended family holiday party during your time and you don't have anything planned, or what you have planned maybe can be rearranged, it's probably going to be in your kids' best interest to allow them to attend that, to see their cousins, to see their extended family. Don't be so rigid that it harms your children. And this goes back into number one and number two. These all build on each other. You understand what's going on early, you make your plans, you communicate with your co-parent, and vice versa. If you have an extended family holiday party on the 22nd or the 26th or whenever it may be, and you're not scheduled to have that time this year, have a dialogue with your co-parent. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it does take a village, and we need to understand that our kids probably want to be there with their cousins. They want to see their extended family. They want to be involved in these traditions, even if they're on the other side of the family. So don't go out of your way to not allow your children to do these things. If it's possible, make it happen. So stay child-centered. Tip number 4, create new traditions. Understand with your current family dynamic, the schedule may be different every year. It may be the same every year, but you may not be able to do the same traditions that maybe you did as a child or that you exactly want to do. So understand you're going to have to be flexible and you're going to have to be creative. And just because maybe you can't celebrate on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning with your kids doesn't mean you can't create new and special traditions that create core memories for your kids. So understand that your new reality may not allow you to do everything you did in the past, but you have the opportunity to create new traditions that are just as meaningful, if not more meaningful, to your children. So think outside the box. And if you're not going to have the kids on Christmas Eve and be able to celebrate with your family, or you're not going to have them on Christmas morning to open presents this year, how can you create special traditions that can be your thing you bond with the kids with? And lastly, I want to give you a bonus tip. And this is a tip that if you're in the unfortunate situation where your disagreement with your co-parent escalates to where the two of you can't handle it, or attorneys can't negotiate out a deal that fits everyone, is you need to document everything. This goes for anything in regards to your custody, your time with your kids. So ensure that you are documenting so that if we do need to go into court in Q1 and sometime in 2025, that we have documentation that, hey, he didn't get Christmas Eve this year because she withheld the kids, or he didn't get his time, or this didn't work, so that we can go into the judge and explain early why the holiday schedule and the order didn't get followed, or why it needs to be changed moving forward for the best interest of the kids. To wrap this up, here are the 4 tips. Review your custody agreement early. Plan ahead and communicate with your co-parent. Remain child-centered in your decision-making and your communications. And number 4, create new special traditions that you can have with your children. If you follow these 4 tips, that's most likely to lead to a successful holiday season that, most importantly, is special to your children, because that's ultimately what we want. We want these special times, Thanksgiving, Christmas, to be special for our kids. And so if you follow these 4 rules, you will put your kids in the best position to have that special holiday season. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it educational, and we'll see you guys again next time. I'm Mark Reel, the Father's Rights Attorney.